Hi, my name's John here. I'm the designer of games like Sensible Soccer, Cannon Fodder, Whizball, Parallax, and Sociable Soccer, and I listen to the One Up Gaming podcast.
Hello, Andy. This is Colin. I won't be able to get in tonight. I'm sweating like a pig. I'm sweating like a pig. I'm sweating like a pig. I'm sweating like a pig.
I can't think of Jeff Minter without the word legend in my head. He's been around the industry for many years and still makes artful games that have influenced a great number of people.
I always found Jeff and his games fascinating because, Jeff was so distinct and he's just so unlike anyone else. And he's one of the true originals, one of the true iconoclasts in gaming. There's no one else like him. If Jeff didn't exist, you'd have to invent him, right? Because someone has to be that guy.
There aren't enough people like Jeff. He is in his things. What he makes is him. What makes Jeff stand out, and what for me was the whole point of the artistry when I was younger, was this notion that it's you in the thing. It is an extension of you. It is a part of you. It is part of your character, your personality.
What he's making is stuff he makes out of love, and that's always been present in everything that he does. I think that's just one of the things that makes the games lovely, that makes the games are so integral to Jeff, and Jeff is so integral to the games.
Obviously, I was a big fan of Jeff from the 80s. I think he was one of the main reasons I got a Commodore 64 after having a Spectrum. After seeing, I think, Sheep in Space and Revenge of the Mutant Camels, I thought, oh, hello, this is interesting.
It was this lifestyle, cultural choice that he'd made, which was so different to everyone else. Everyone else was just a company or a product, and Jeff was Jeff. He was in magazines talking about his life. He was talking about what interests him, what was different about the way he approached it. He was engaging with people directly, and Jeff was passionate about the art of making games, being himself, and if people like to pay him money to do that, fantastic.
The way he dressed, he looked a bit rock starish and hippie-ish as well.
He had long hair and a beard, and he dressed a bit like a hippie, I suppose. Which I could relate to, because in the 70s I grew my hair long. Well, we weren't called, we were known as hairies then.
They always had those Peruvian jumpers and the animals in there, oh yeah. And the long hair and oh yeah, here he is. Here's the hippie. He had like an Afghan coat, with all sheepskin on the outside and the fluff down the front. Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that.
Very different from the other programmers that we met at those times. Very, very different.
It's somewhere between being very rock star and not rock star at all. I can't quite decide because he will just dress how he likes and speak his mind, and he's very lovely and very open to speaking with everyone. And it is very interesting to see someone who's never really fallen into the trap of wanting to conform to what the industry thinks anyone should be.
I remember lying in my bedroom in the dark and listening to Pink Floyd. And in my head I would imagine like sort of abstract geometric shapes sort of doing stuff in time to the music. For a long time these abstract visions were just in my head. As I went through school, that kind of went to the back of my mind. And at first when I was programming games, it didn't really occur to me that I could use the computer to do that. One day I was out for a run and I just thought, why don't I try doing, using some of this tech that I've got for making games and make something that's not a game, and why not try and just do a single approximation of what this thing I'd had in mind, this machine to externalise the abstract stuff in your head, to go how you might go about making one of those. And so I came up with this like 1K program which I called Psychedelia. You just had this dot and you move the dot around, you press the button and all these flowing patterns would come out. And you could put symmetry on them, so you could kind of direct this in time to the music. It was lovely. And it blew my mind just how cool this was to play with. And I got my mates around and I said, you've got to try this. And sat them down and put on the Floyd and gave them the joysticks and said, just do this. And people really enjoyed it. And it was so nice. It was so pure, it was something else. I felt like I'd broken through into some area where not many people had been working. In fact, people
Jeff obviously is brilliant. Like, he's still doing that thing. He's still doing the games.
People remember Llamasoft and the long history, and people sometimes forget that there are two of us here, and you know, these games aren't just Jeff Minter games anymore. It's Llamasoft, and Llamasoft is the pair of us. But it was getting to the point where you need more than one person to do this stuff, really.
When Giles first came along, it was at exactly the right time. So they'd met and they'd become friends online and got chatting, and obviously realised that there was a lot in common, because Giles is, you know, is a complete ninja coder.
One thing we have in common with Jeff, I will say, we have an idea in mind. We both like to see it becoming something tangible, something you can touch it or play with it or feel it. For Jeff, it's mostly software. For me, it's also about hardware.
Giles is almost as eccentric and unique as Jeff is, but in his own special way.
Jeff is the kind of person that can solve things in a way that probably most people would not, using unconventional methods maybe, but he gets things done. I'm much more into maybe a more formal approach about how to solve things.
He's this mad Italian coder who has his own particular strengths, and it seems that they fit together quite nicely.
You know, I think our nerdery is well aligned, if you want to put it that way.
And I think without Giles, there would not be as many Jeff Minter games in the world as there are right now.
Now with Giles, Jeff is developing better technology, and that's given him an ability to stay independent. You can just construct the game. He's probably got a deeper level of thought and understanding of game design than he's ever had. That's something I've got a lot of time for Jeff, in that every single game there's something that's a bit new now and pushes stuff forward.
I like doing light synthy stuff, and we decided that since the light synth was quite versatile and could come up with a lot of cool effects, then why not use this to build games in? I mean, actually have that capability as a starting point for making games. At that time, Space Giraffe was the closest integration I'd done of the light synth and the game. The game was literally sitting inside a visualizer effect for all the levels, and I had a very specific design objective to use the psychedelic visuals and